Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. Today on the program, the war on drugs continues.
Ang katotohanan, marami na rin natatakot na pumasok sa droga.
But are we winning against it? Or is there a need to tweak the government strategy?
Probably we can straighten the problem on this. Kasi every year na lang laging ganito eh. Tapos kami nasisisi lagi.
Also changes in the PNP leadership.
It's hypocrisy na sabihin kong hindi ko gusto maging chief PNP. All the three stars, may ambisyon na maging chief PNP.
Restoring police trust and the Ninja Cops scandal.
It is very important in a uniformed service to have full integrity, especially among its officers' corps.
And beefing up security ahead of Undas. Acting PNP Chief Lieutenant General Archie Gamboa joins us live. Thank you for joining us. I'm Pinky Webb. President Rodrigo Duterte fires back at Vice President Leni Robredo, saying that he is willing to let the Vice President lead the drug war. In recent interviews, the Vice President says that there is a need to tweak the Duterte drug war and assess if the controversial drug policy is working. Also, was the case filed against resigned PNP Chief Oscar Albayalde and the so-called Ninja Cops rushed or too weak? And how is the PNP recovering from the controversy? Let's go straight to the source of the story. Philippine National Police, OIC, Lieutenant General Archie Gamboa, or he could very well be not just the OIC, sir. Meron na hubang balita kung sinong susunod na PNP chief?
Good morning,
Good morning,
Pinky,
sir.
and thank you for the invitation. Not a hint of it.
Really?
Really. From deep from my heart.
Talaga?
Yes.
How important is it, sir, for you to be the next PNP chief?
Can we go to the next topic? I promised the public not to talk about anything that would involve my being a candidate for the chief PNP. Because I think what is more important is my being the officer in charge now.
I respect that, sir.
Thank you.
I'll move topics. Vice President Leni Robredo calling possibly a tweak in the war on drugs. Nagkaroon po ng first story dito that the Vice President clarified. She said, I don't want a halt to it, but assess it, tingnan ko anong mali, and possibly tweak it. Is it time to make changes or improve the war on drugs, sir?
In every campaign that the government is into, there's always an assessment, an evaluation. In the PNP, we do this on a quarterly basis. We revisit our policies, make some adjustments, and we've been doing that. So the Vice President doesn't have to remind us because we've been doing this since 2016. As a matter of fact, in our campaign against illegal drugs, there's the illegal drug campaign, there's the double barrel alpha, then followed by Bravo. These are all results of reassessment of strategies, which the PNP has been doing since 2016.
But when you say the Vice President doesn't need to remind us of that, do you take it as if, were you offended by her saying that possibly you need to tweak the war on drugs, sir?
Anybody is good for his own opinion, and it will remain at that. But the PNP, as I have said, we always review our policies.
But I guess I want to go back because you said the Vice President does not need to remind us that. What do you mean by that, sir?
Because we've been doing it even before.
So what if the President says something about it? Will you say that the President doesn't need to remind you of that, the war on drugs, sir?
Probably there's a difference between when the Commander-in-Chief says so.
Iba.
Because he has a different assessment also.
And this is, of course, the policy
Yes.
of the Duterte administration. Let's listen to what President Rodrigo Duterte said, because he was saying that if the Vice President isn't so happy with it, then maybe he can have her be the drug czar. Let's listen.
I do not surrender anything. I said if she wants, I can commission her to be the drug czar. Marami na siyang reklamo doon sa labas. O sige, sabi niya, you have to redirect your or whatever. Ngayon, mas marunong ka man sa akin, I'll hand into you full powers sa drugs. I'll give you 6 months. tignan natin kung kaya.
Do you think the Vice President can lead the war on drugs, sir?
Let's give it a try if she accepts the challenge. And of course, it is upon the President to really lay down the rules on what's going to be her role if ever she's given that role.
You know, General, there's criticism on the war on drugs, and there are also praises on the war on drugs. While you're sitting as OIC, what is the most important thing that needs to be possibly improved in the war on drugs, sir? I say that there are praises, or more so, let me clarify that. When you look at the survey on the war on drugs, sir, a lot of people are saying that masaya naman sila sa war on drugs. But ang gusto talaga ng tao ay buhay pa sana yung mga suspects na nahuhuli. So, while you're OIC, what could possibly be improved?
Okay. Maybe we cannot deny that really we were haunted by the controversies during the Senate hearing. And in effect, it has really demoralized the PNP, and it has affected so much our reputation. So with that, ang priority ko talaga was internal cleansing. To prove, of course, primarily nandun talaga yung campaign against illegal drugs. Pero dito, sabi ko nga, we have to prove to the public. Although yung mga ninja cops naman na sinasabi nila, because of the incident, it happened already 2013 or a few years back, before the 2016 start of the administration. So ito yung sinasabi ko na dapat talaga pakita natin sa tao. No? Kasi marami talagang comment about sa reputation ng kapulisan. So sabi ko, we'll start from within, and if we prove, probably we'll get the support from the community. Once we let them believe that we are serious in our job, and yun lang naman ang gusto ng kapulisan, na maging mapayapa yung buhay ng bawat Pilipino.
When you talk about internal cleansing, General, it's not something new. It's as if every chief of the PNP espouses internal cleansing. How different would be your internal cleansing from the past PNP chiefs?
I have been the chairman of the Oversight Committee on Internal Cleansing. The Oversight has a duty to review policies regarding that specific topic or agenda, which is internal cleansing. Under the new program of the PNP, which we launched actually during the time of General Bayalde, we divided it into 3 different phases. First is preventive, preventing those who are vulnerable. Vulnerable meaning to say, kagaya ng mga nag-i-impose ng mga traffic regulation. No? Kasi pwedeng ayusan, no? Huwag nakitang bigyan ng ticket, tapos ayusin na lang natin.
Lagay na lang.
Yeah, second are investigators. No? Kasi sila yung nag-handle ng kaso, they talk to both parties, sometimes they do compromises, which are not actually allowed by law, no? Kasi sa prosecution yun eh. So, all of these things, pinag-aralan namin, meron tayong tinatawag na, yun nga, vulnerable sector of the PNP, who could probably be the most frequently na masasubject doon sa mga anomalies. No? Now, what did we do? We created the squad system. The squad system, which originated in Police Regional Office Calabarzon in 4A, under General Aplaska, we divided the entire PNP or the entire organization into smaller groups we call squad. It's headed by a responsible leader, a more senior non-commissioned officer, to oversee, no? And then ini-empower namin siya, bigyan namin siyang responsibility, accountability. Kasi nga the PNP has grown so large. That's why we need to dissect and devolve a few functions para matutukan, no? Matutukan. So that's the preventive side. Of course, dito sa punitive, we have a list of rogue cops, no? Those who were tested positive of drugs. We monitor that they really get dismissed, because when you are tested of positive in drugs, you have no day. You should not you're not supposed to stay a day
In the PNP.
longer in the PNP. No, that's a no-no. So ito namang iba, merong mga allegations kasi pumapasok yung reports eh. No, so we make a watch list, a counterintelligence watch list. So ito yung ine-evaluate, no? Kung pwede pa ba itong i-reform, or baka yung allegation na may nakaalitan lang siya, no? It's a very tedious process in intelligence. So ngayon, pag na-prove talaga, no, or meron talagang laman, no, merong laman na talagang involved siya, then we go for case build-up. And it doesn't come easy. No? Siyempre, alam niyang pulis, matulis din yung mga pulis. No? So, yun yung challenge. And then after that, meron kami doon sa restorative. So, ito yung mga napapunish on other offenses in the PNP, which we slowly give a transition for them to go back as good policemen in the
reform.
organization.
Opo.
So these are the series of
That's a lot,
stages.
sir. I guess, but how long is that going to take? If you were to be still, for example, the head of the PNP, and to follow these reforms, the squad command, the internal cleansing, sir, gaano ho kaya katagal ito bago you will see significant improvements?
We will see from the results talaga sa involvement. No? We have a very rich database. No? Probably may problema din kasi kami. We have a pending procurement for a 2.8 billion ICT roadmap. This is intelligence-based. Pero hagip ito pati yung human resource. If we can automate everything and get real-time statistics, probably we will have a better analysis of how things are happening. Kasi hindi pwedeng mag-launch ka and then you do not measure it. It's very important. No? That's why in my meeting yesterday, sabi ko nga, okay, meron tayong revamp. In-evaluate natin yung mga tao natin on all different aspects, including tenure, sinong matagal, fresh blood, etc. But we promised the public to evaluate after 3 months.
Right.
So sabi ko, let's put up different measures. How do we measure our commanders? How do we assess their performance? So baka nga hindi abutin ng 3 months.
But is that going to hold true, let's say, sir, on the possibility na hindi kayo ang maging PNP chief?
Ito nga sinasabi ko nga na ang pagiging OIC ko, I will just do what is mandated as of this time. Pero kung iba yung maging chief PNP, I fully respect. Of course, these recommendations will be passed on to him, whoever he is.
Yeah.
But remember, Pinky, this is an institution. There are institutional reforms na hindi natin sinasaksak dahil si Gamboa nag-OIC. No? And I think everybody's convinced that we're on the right track.
All right.
Probably a few adjustments on it.
Before we go on a break, how would you so far describe the government's war on drugs, sir?
Very successful.
All right. We'll be taking a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Acting PNP Chief Lieutenant General Archie Gamboa. Sir, you said that war on drugs is successful, yet you have the Ninja Cops controversy. I understand, sir, sinabi mo 2013 ito, but how would you reconcile that? Kunwari po sabihin sa inyo, successful, sir, bakit meron kayong Ninja Cops?
I'll correct, no? There's a big difference between officer in charge and acting PNP chief.
Okay.
So please,
Officer
I'm
in
only
charge.
the officer in charge, the caretaker.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. What was the question again?
The question is, sabi niyo, successful.
Yeah.
Pero you're hounded by this Ninja Cops controversy. And as I mentioned a while ago, I do understand that this happened in 2013. However, you have the ex-PNP chief now being part of the charges that the CIDG filed before the DOJ.
Okay, let's look at this. Let's look at it in this way. Ito yung controversy before, no? It doesn't necessarily mean na marami pang Ninja Cops ngayon. Ang problema lang, syempre, meron ng stereotyping, no? Because of what happened in the Senate. So, ito na ngayon. Ito na yung hinaharap namin. But mind you, I already told the public on how we went in our campaign against illegal drugs, including the Ninja Cops. No? So, a lot of them have already retired. A lot of them have already dismissed from the service. No? Although hindi ko naman sinasabi na wala na. Meron pa rin. No? So, parang binigyan ka ng...
Would you say there's less now than before?
Meron pa bang very less? Less. Yes, it's very less. It's less, Pinky.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, meron kasi kaming yung sinasabi ko ng watch list. No? We kept on monitoring them. No? Kaya masabi ko talaga na halos wala na yan. No? And you know what?
Halos wala, sir.
Ito sinasabi ko na ang problema kasi dyan sa Ninja Cops na sinasabi nila is recycling. No? Ano yung recycling? You plant evidence. But remember, it's capital punishment. No? Siguro, I sat down as OIC. I have powers for a disciplinary authority so I can dismiss. No? In the 3 days time that I signed documents on dismissal, probably ang na-dismiss ko na mga nasa 15 or 20 cops in just 3 days. No? So ito yung sinasabi nga sa internal cleansing, empowering them. to give an impression to the public na pag meron namang basihan, hindi ako magsasayang ng oras.
Okay, you have Senator Richard Gordon, Mayor Benjamin Magalong not happy with the charges, or including PNP Chief Oscar Albayalde into the charges filed before the DOJ, sir. Ang sabi nilang dalawa ho kasi, nagtataka sila, bakit parang ang bilis ng pag-imbestiga ng CIDG? Let's listen to Senator Richard Gordon and Mayor Benjamin Magalong.
I'm just a bit wary why the quick filing of case against General Abelde, because it takes some time to develop to collect a piece of evidence, you know, and to develop a case against one particular respondent. So I'm just worried, you know. I'm just a bit cautious about it.
That's what they did the first time. Pinadali yung kaso, naglagay sila ng maling tao, pinalitan yung si Johnson Lee ni Ding Won Kun, and then na-dismiss yung siyempre kay Ding Won Kun. Ngayon, ang bilis-bilis ito. I'm worried because they may be cherry-picking the charges. Yung madaling ma-dismiss yung gagawin. I think you really have to take the whole...
Quick reaction, sir.
Yeah. I required General Coronel, who is now the director of CIDG. Can you place in a matrix what was the original charge and what's the new charge? What's the weight of the evidence that you have presented now? So, nilagay yun. Sinabi ni Jigs na ganito. Now, remember, this is a criminal case. Before it goes to the court, it has to pass through the Department of Justice, who consolidates all evidences. And it is really upon the DOJ to evaluate whether there's a strong case or not. No? So, kami lang naman itumutulong kung anong nire-require ng DOJ. But remember, ultimately, it's the Department of Justice who is reviewing the case. And
Absolutely.
if there's probable cause that indeed these offenses were committed, then it will go to the courts.
Do you think it's a weak case?
No, it's not. Because, bakit mabilis? No? Because we already have the evidences coming from the Senate. And these
Ginamit
are
niya yan.
sworn statements. Di ba? Sila mismo nagsabi that this can be used as an evidence in the filing of the
So
case.
who spearheaded this, sir? Was it
General Coronel takes full responsibility
Siya na.
over the amended complaint now being filed.
Okay, let me move to another subject, sir. The cops, 16 policemen na nahulihan umano ng cellphone. No, hindi naman umano. Meron talaga silang daladalang cellphone at alak at tobacco, if not cigarillo, sir. What is the story here? Because si General Sina, sir, sinasabi na parang dina-downplay umano, allegedly, what happened to the cops?
I think there's a mix-up. Because ang sinasabi nating 16, yung nagdala ng cellphone, no, na wala naman silang intention na dalhin. But of course, there's a lot of question. No? Let the investigation go that way. Pero dito naman yung sa mga contraband, iba rin yun.
Sir, there's 14, supposedly, that brought cell phones, na may dalang cellphone, pero hindi naman po napasok dahil nahuli nga daw bago ipasok. And there were 2 that supposedly brought the alak at yung tobacco. Tama, sir?
No, parang ang alam ko as I see it, 8 yung involved doon, yung nagpasok ng mga alak, ng mga sigarilyo, at iba rin yung 16. That's how I understand it,
Okay.
unless the facts are different.
All right, so let's stick to that, sir, dun sa alam nyo. So, doon sa nagdala ng cellphone, ano ho ang iyong reaction doon? Because ang sinasabi po, nahulihan, ang sinasabi naman, hindi pa sila pumapasok sa NBP na dala-dala nila yung cellphone. Did they know any better,
Alam
sir?
mo, Pinky, being a lawyer, there's always a presumption of innocence. Pero ang sa akin is, let General Sinas investigate and let General Sinas answer your questions. Kasi siya yung may hawak nun eh.
Okay.
No? And of course, hindi ko lang alam kung papareview niya sa akin. Kasi ang
Did you talk to him about it already?
Yes.
What did he say,
Yun
sir?
lang sabi niya na yun lang naman ang kasalanan nila is yung cellphones nila. Which they didn't have any intention na ipasok kasi meron pang dadaanan of which they can surrender the cellphones.
May isa pa.
Yes.
May isa pang line
yun
of
ang sabi niya. Yan.
Okay. And then what did he say about the alak and the sigarilyo, sir?
Ayun, talagang definite yun. Pag mahumulihan ka, kasi in itself, mali na yun eh. No? So they should be punished. Now,
So he believes that yung nagdala ng cellphone really had no intention to bring it in and possibly sell the cellphone inside or
that's according to him and it's not based on procedural due process that really says so. Di ba? Hindi naman, sinabi niya lang yon pero Dapat kasi imbestigahan, no? And then tingnan. And then you present to me, what's your final
Right.
findings?
When is he going to present this to you, General? The
You
findings
want me to give him a deadline? Or we'll give him a week?
from now?
Yeah.
So
And I
to-
promise to get back at you when there are results for
All
this.
right. So you're giving him at least that opportunity, sir, to do a little bit more investigation into this. We'll be taking another short break. We'll be right back. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Philippine National Police OIC Lieutenant General Archie Gamboa. Sir, dami ko pang tanong. Si General Sinas naman, sabi niyo po that you will talk to him about what is supposed to be his controversial policies. For those who may not know, si General Sinas kasi parang sinasabi na pinaalis daw yung NCR press corps doon sa kanilang opisina at ayaw daw magpa-interview unless or kukuha na lang ata ng spokesman. Will you talk to him and what do you know about this?
Okay.
Sir?
General Sinas came from Cebu, no? He was the regional director of Police Regional Office 7 and he was very effective, no? Sabi ko nga, nung una, ganun din yung media sa kanya. But later on, they learned to love him, no? At okay sila, no? When I visit there. Kasi parang 5 times akong pumunta ng Cebu, for a while he was a regional director on certain affairs. Now, really, siguro, recalibration, no? Kasi, sasabihin ko sa kanya, mamaya, we will see each other, na, look, this is the National Capital Region, and probably there's a different way of handling the entire situation here in the National Capital Region. Remember, the NCRPO is the face of the PNP, no? Because nandito lahat ng media outlet, no? You can go live, you can pwede ka kunan agad-agad, and then mabilis mag-spread, no? Including probably a social media. So I will personally talk to him and, find also reasons. Baka meron din siyang rason. But we will talk about this diligently. And I hope maayos natin to.
So, do you feel that tama ho bang tinanggal niya yung press corps doon sa opisina, sir, na decades na silang naka...
Now, his words was not tinanggal, no? Sabi niya, gagamitin niya at
Correct.
nag-offer siya ng ibang lugar.
Sa Camp Bagong Diwa?
Yeah.
And do you think that's the right move, sir?
I'll ask him.
But you believe in... you stand by him?
Of course,
Of
no?
course.
Because General Sinas, when I was the chief directorial staff, he was my secretary directorial staff and he was very efficient. No? Sinasabi ko nga, mas takot yung classmates ko sa kanya kaysa akin.
Okay, sir, very briefly, si Mayor Navarro, update po from the President, sinabi na po niya, tanggalin na sa police yung investigation at ilipat na sa NBI. In fact, he's suspecting that baka daw, may involvement ang police dito.
He is the commander-in-chief, so we follow him.
All right, Undas, you will make the rounds today and full alert na, sir, no? Canceled na lahat ng mga bakasyon at mga leaves.
Yes, that's why I'm in this kind of uniform because from here on, I'll go visit some bus stations.
Okay, and iikot ho kayo, sir?
Yes.
And exactly what do you want to see sa inyong pag-iikot? Kasama niyo
Not only to see, but to assure the public that your police is here to serve you during this long weekend. And especially itong Undas natin na sineselebrate.
Sir, terror threats?
None as of yet. But the PNP is prepared for any eventualities.
And yung pong possible retaliatory attacks?
Yeah.
Also prepared po ang Philippine...
We always talk with the armed forces of the Philippines who is in the front line on anti-terrorism.
So, on full alert, you have about, what, 35,000? Tama ho ba?
Yeah, 35 of the almost 190,000 policemen.
Na
Pero
ipapakalat.
nationwide ito, nationwide.
Pero meron pa pong force multiplier yan from the LGUs, correct?
Yeah, LGUs, Department of Health, and other civic action groups who would actually help us doon sa kung may mga health problems, traffic. Kasi sa ibang local units, traffic is devolved in the local government unit. So the PNP will just augment.
So, sir, we'd like to thank you for your time and we'll count on you, sir, doon sa promise nyo next week to find out ano yung nangyari. It's good, sir, yung sa policemen doon sa Bilibid na involved supposedly doon sa pagpasok ng ilang contraband because it's also high time to also find out, sir, were they really involved or not? Di
Yes,
ba?
yes.
because that's been coming out. Just very quickly, are there any changes still, sir, na magaganap within the PNP in the near future?
Yeah, recently, the regional director of Region 10 was suspended. He is my classmate. And we're going to install the new regional director there come Thursday. That's why I'm going to Cagayan de Oro. And probably yun muna ang pinaka-recent. No? And siguro yung mga darating na mga retirements. No? There are a lot of generals who's going to retire by this month and next month. So yun dun mag-devolve yung mga changes.
And kayo, sir, you still have, what, a year before retirement?
By November 2, I have 11 months before retirement.
Before retirement. We'd like to thank Philippine National Police Officer in Charge, Lieutenant General Archie Gamboa. Sir, maraming salamat and I hope to see you again.
Yeah,
sir,
thank you very
to
much,
interview.
Pinky, for the invitation again. Good morning.
Thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.